Hey, what's up guys, and welcome to another Arc Garage video. Today we're going to be adjusting the headlights on Alfa Romeo Giulietta. The problem that I have is with the high beams, they are a bit too low, so the goal is to pull them up a little bit. However, on these headlights there are actually 3 adjustment screws. Since I couldn't find anything in the workshop manual in regard to the headlight adjustment, I'm gonna have to test out all of those 3 screws to figure out which one does what. Now we already know that you can adjust the headlights using these 2 buttons right here. We got the values on the dash, so if I push the down button, it's currently at 0. If I push it down, it goes 1, 2 and 3, and the third one would be the lowest setting. Now the problem with this, however, is that with these buttons I can only adjust the low beam. The high beam is gonna stay in the same spot, as you can see right here. Alright, here are our 3 adjustment screws. There's one on the bottom and there's also one more on the back. I'm not really sure how well can you see it, but I've actually marked them, and I did that, as I said before, because I don't know which one does what. So the plan here is to turn them one by one and see which one is gonna move first, the low beam left to right and up and down, and which one is gonna be for the high beam. Now since this one is right on the top, I'm guessing that this one is only gonna move the high beam up and down. I'm gonna start at the bottom with this screw right here. You can see I got my spinner handle, small extension, and 6mm Allen socket. So what I'm gonna do here, I'm basically just gonna turn this screw clockwise 10 times, and we're gonna see how the low beam headlight is going to move. As you can see, I've parked the car inside the garage and closed the door. I've also put some tape down as a reference so we can see how the light beam moves. So let's check out this one first. And as you can see, as I'm turning that little screw clockwise, the low beam is moving up. So that first screw is gonna be in charge of moving the low beam light up and down. The clockwise motion is gonna move it up, and the counterclockwise motion is gonna move it down. Since everything is good with the low beam lights, I'm not gonna mess with it. I'm just gonna put everything back as it was. Next, I'm gonna move on to this screw on the back. Now I'm basically gonna do just the same thing. I'm gonna turn it clockwise 10 times, and I'm gonna turn it back, and we're gonna see how the low beam light is gonna move. But since we already found the screw which moves it up and down, I'm guessing that this one is gonna move it left to right. Only thing left to see is we're gonna see if the clockwise motion moves it left or right. Alright, I'm turning the screw again in the clockwise motion, and this one is a little bit harder to see, but the light beam is actually moving to the left side. So I don't really suggest messing with this screw too much, but if you want to move your low beams left or right, the clockwise motion is going to be in charge for moving it to the left, and counterclockwise is gonna move it to the right. Also, I'm just gonna speed this video up so you can see how the light beam moves a little bit better. Lastly, we're gonna check out this one, and for that I'm gonna use my small ratchet and 8mm socket. So I'm basically just gonna repeat the same thing. I'm gonna turn this screw clockwise 10 times, and I'm gonna return it back to its original position. We're gonna see how the light beam moves. And now when the night comes, I'm gonna go out on the road and I'm gonna adjust it properly. Alright, again I'm turning this screw clockwise, and as you can see the light beam is moving down. The one thing that I have to warn you about, if you actually marked this little screw, mark it lengthwise, because if you just put a little dot on it as you are screwing the screw in, the dot is gonna disappear and you're gonna lose your mark. I'm actually not gonna mess even with the high beams too much. I'm gonna put them back into their original position. Then I'm gonna later on find a nice dark road. I'm gonna take my small ratchet and 8mm screw, and I'm gonna adjust the light beam so it has the best possible visibility. Also, I was only able to turn this little screw only 3 times. So just to be clear, here the clockwise motion is gonna move the high beams down, and the counterclockwise motion is gonna move them up. Alright, I've found a dark secluded road, so what I'm basically gonna do, I'm just gonna take my small ratchet and 8mm socket, and I'm gonna do one full turn on each headlights to move the high beams up. Again, I gotta warn you, make sure that you mark all of these screws so you can always put them back in the original position if something goes wrong. So as I said, I'm gonna do one full circle here, and I'm also going to do one full circle on the left headlight. Then I'm gonna take the car for the ride, and I'm gonna see if the visibility improved. Okay, I'm not really sure that you can see it on the camera, but the high beams are definitely up. I'm gonna take the car for the ride and make sure that everything is good. So I've tested everything out. The high beams are in the perfect position. The one full circle was enough to get them in the proper spot. Anyway, that would be all for this video. I hope you find it useful. If you did, hit that like button and support our channel by subscribing and by sharing our content with the rest of the